All right, so our next challenge that we see a lot in school gardens is overgrown plants. And I will say that I am kind of guilty of being at times an emotional gardener. If something is alive, I'm like, oh my God, I can't possibly just like throw it out. But in fact, that's a really important point, is that just because it's alive doesn't mean that it belongs there or that's a good spot there. So having overgrown plants in your beds, you end up starting to get kind of some of the similar problems that weeds bring in. Is you have, those plants can seed out, and you'll end up having, like, while having one or two of the plants was great, but having like 1,000 of them is not great. They can also introduce a lot of bugs if they start to have health problems or just attract a certain type of bug. And they just become a bigger cleanup problem later. So I've seen this a lot in school gardens where like something green comes up and everyone's like, oh, it's a plant. I wonder what it is. I wonder what it is. And no one wants to pull it out because it's green. Well, like 5 years later, they realize that that was actually an acorn that sprouted, and now there's a tree growing in a vegetable bed. So again, you just have to really be aware of, like, what did you intentionally put there? What is like a surprise seeding, which sometimes can be pleasant, and sometimes that surprise seeding is not in an appropriate location and needs to be pulled out. All right, so this is an example from Carver. So Carver peeps, shout out to you. This is a great little, they have a native area up there. And I remember when I first saw the Carver native area, I loved it because they have fennel up there, which is one of my favorites. And it's a fantastic plant to have to attract a certain type of butterflies. So fennel is a lot of fun, but fennel also loves to seed out. So what you're seeing here, all these tall plants are fennel plants, and they're dropping seeds all over. So can you just go to the next slide, Michelle? So this is on the other side of where I was taking the picture before, and you can see that now the fennel plants have actually spread into the classroom area, the seating area, a whole nother bed. So while fennel is, again, it's fun to have in certain quantities, there's a point where you want to say, we don't need any more fennel. And I had that with like one of my first gardens that I worked with, where there was like a cilantro outbreak that was like crazy. It was everywhere. It was literally like a lawn of cilantro. So just be aware of when it's time to say goodbye to a plant.